Anyone play Mridanga? Slowly. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Ahari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare Hava Kunjabi Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Shri Shri Pancha Tattva ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vranda ki, Natai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. So today is the fourth evening with our Pancha Tattva series, and we're going to enter into the consciousness of Srivas Thakur, or sometimes also called Srivas Pandit. And then tomorrow morning will be our fifth class on the Panchatattva series of the most auspicious anniversary appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that class is in the temple room at 8 o'clock in the morning. So you can repeat after me. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is the Adi Leela, chapter 10, the branches of the Chaitanya tree, text number 8. Shri Vasa Pandita Ara Shri Rama Pandita Dohi Bahi Dohi Saka Jagate Vidita Shri Vasa Pandita Ara Shri Rama Pandita Dohi Bahi Dohi Saka Jagate Vidita Shri Vasa Pandita Ara Shri Rama Pandita Dohi Bahi Dohi Saka Jagate Vidita With the translation and the purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. The two brothers, Srivas Pandit and Sri Ram Pandit, started two branches that are well known in the world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Gaura Ganadesha Dipika, text 90, Srivas Pandit or Srivas Thakur is described as an incarnation of Narada Muni. And Sri Rama Pandit, his younger brother, is said to be an incarnation of Parvata Muni, a great friend of Narada's. Srivas Pandit's wife, Malini, is celebrated as an incarnation of the nurse Ambika, who fed Lord Krishna with her breast milk, and has already noted his niece Narayani, the mother of Thakur Vrindavan Das, the author of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, was the sister of Ambika in Krishna Lila. We also understand from the description of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat that after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's acceptance of the sannyas order, Srivas Pandit left Navadvip, possibly because of feelings of separation, and domiciled at Kumarahata. Text 9. Shri Pati Srinidhi Tanra Dohi Sahodara Chari Bhaira Dasa Dasi Griha Parikara. There, two brothers were named Sripati and Srinidhi. These four brothers and their servants and maidservants are considered one big branch. Text 10. Dohi Sakara Upasakaya Tan Sabara Ganana Yandra Grihe Mahaprabhura Sada Sankirtanam. Translation. There is no counting the sub-branches of these two branches. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu held congregational chanting daily at the house of Srivasa Pandit. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Narada Muni is a perfect brahmachari, a celibate whose only actions and consciousness is for the purpose of pure devotional service. However, his Istadev is Lakshmi Narayan. So therefore he chants that mantra wherever he goes. Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. But there's no Narayan feature permanently or eternally in Goloka Vrindavan or our Vraj Mandala. See? However, in his travels as an eternal spaceman, he at times hears about Krishna in the form of Shama Sundara. Because his Istadev, Narayan, is four-armed or even more than that. But this two-armed form of this coward boy, Shyama, who was sort of blackish blue in color, attracted him. And he used to hear in his travels about this personality. So therefore, he wanted to know more, and he wanted the darshan of this personality. So Narada Muni was traveling in outer space. He can go from different planets to another, even enter into Vaikuntha. But he was traveling above in this particular planet, which has Sri Vrajamandala, which is the 12 forest of Vraja. But in his traveling spaceman way, when he came into the precincts or the boundary of this 64 square miles, so to speak, of territory, he couldn't contain and sustain his being a person who doesn't need any, you could say, carrier to be on. He just flies. But when he came over Vraj Mandala, he couldn't. He couldn't. Immediately the sort of potency of the place didn't allow him to fly, and he landed there on the ground. And every time he tried to take himself to fly again as a transcendental preacher, spaceman, he couldn't do it. He was stuck on the ground. See? And he first entered into the forest called Bandiravan. See? But the consciousness of Vrajamandala is full of Krishna consciousness. And he could feel that. He could feel this young boy named Shyamasundar is somewhere in this place. But there were 12 forests, and he entered in Bandiravan. So when he came to Bandiravan, Prabhupada and Srila Rupa Goswami say this from the Nectar of Devotion in chapter 51. When Narada Muni was passing to Vrindavan, sometimes all 12 forests are called Vrindavan also, but Vrindavan also is a separate forest amongst the 12. You understand? Okay. when Narada Muni was passing through Vrindavan, he came to Bandiravan forest and saw in one of the trees the famous parrot couple that always accompanies Lord Krishna. So you can understand here that this Sukha and Sari. Sukha is the male parrot and Sari is the female parrot. They are a pair. So they always accompany Krishna. So when Narada Muni comes close to a very intimate associate of Krishna, he can feel the presence of Shyamasundar. So that's what's happening in a way when you go to the original verses of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is translated into Nectar of Devotion. So he stopped. But he didn't immediately see Sukha and Sari. He was hearing first what they were speaking about. And he was surprised that they could speak perfect Sanskrit in poetry. And then Prabhupada says, the couple, the famous parrot couple, who accompanies Lord Krishna, was imitating some discussion they had heard upon the Vedanta philosophy, and thus were seemingly arguing upon various philosophical points. These two parrots, they were having Srimad Bhagavatam class. And upon seeing this, and he looked at them, and he's wondering, even the parrots are discussing Vedanta. He was struck with wonder, which is called Adbhutaras. And he began to stare at these parrots without moving his eyelids. He just looked at them as if he's a painted picture. Like that. Now, some added information to this from the Nectar of Devotion in chapter 51 is that he was so dumbfounded, and that's not Narada Muni. Narada Muni always will chant Om Namo Narayan. He couldn't even chant that. He was so dumbfounded, and internally he was feeling, maybe I should ask these parrots, where's this Shyamasundar? If they can speak Vedanta philosophy, then surely they know who he is and where he is. But he doesn't know that those parrots are Krishna's favorites. They also travel with Krishna wherever he wants to go. They fly wherever he goes. Now, I'm going to discuss something from the Narada Purana. This is in Canto 2, chapter 80, from text 9 to 32. And then I'm going to fuse that into verses from the Skanda Purana, and that's from Canto 2, chapter 6, text 2 and 3. We okay so far? Yeah. Now, sometimes, maybe most times for some brahmacharis, sometimes a brahmachari who wears a saffron is very attached to being a brahmachari. See? And sometimes the brahmachari becomes a little bit fanatical, and he doesn't see mothers and women in general in a very favorable consciousness, because he's attached to being brahmachari. See? But attached to bringing brahmachari doesn't take you to Goloka Vrindavan. It takes you at best to be again in the Daivi Varna ashram system. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. It gives you the culture of human life leading up to spiritual life. See? So the gopis of Vrindavan, some of them were married. They even had little babies. And when Krishna plays his flute at Vamsivat, some of them may be even cooking. Some of them may be even serving their husbands. Some of them may be even breastfeeding their little babies. As soon as they hear the flute, what happens? They drop everything. And they run to Vamsivat. So in other words, in the Daivi Varna Ashram system, a wife and a mother is meant to be very chaste and loyal and faithful to the father and to the family in general. But here the gopis, they gave up their chastity. They gave up their loyalty and they gave up their faithfulness to their family and ran to who? Krishna. So a love for Krishna and service to Krishna goes beyond Daivi Varna Ashram duties. You have to also give that up. But you can only give up your chastity for only Krishna, not for some other person. That is Mahapap, greatly sinful. See? So similarly, Narada Muni is very attached to being a brahmachari. And then he sees two parrots, Sukha and Sari, coming from the nectar of devotion. And he says, even Sari, the female one, is arguing philosophically with the male one. What is going on here? See? So he becomes a little bit confused that how, like a male and female can speak philosophically on Vedanta, and that to being birds, and in the language that he can understand. So that's what's happening. But he's very attached to being a brahmachari. So from the Narada Purana and the Skanda Purana, as well as the Padma Purana, from Canto 4 of the Padma Purana, text chapter 75, from text 25 to 46. I'm going to just speak freely from these verses in like a story or a pastime form. Otherwise it'll take too long. Otherwise. Okay? So when Narada Muni first heard about Shyama Sundar or Krishna, and then he heard where you can find him in Vraj Mandala, in this earthly planet, he started wandering aimlessly when he lost his sort of flying situation, the momentum, and he came down and touched the ground. Now you're touching, Vrajaduli, you're touching the dust of Vrindavan. And when you touch that, you lose all your mysticism. Doesn't apply. He started aimlessly wandering in the forest, and then he came across Sukha and Sari in Bandiravan. So when that happened to him, he couldn't find any signs of Shyama Sundar. But he was intensely hankering, and he was running through, the bowers, the creepers, and so forth, practically like a madman. Like a madman. And he couldn't find. So according to Padma Purana, Narada Muni approached his brother. Who is his brother? Shiva. Or Sadashiva more especially. And he said, please, can you benedict me, you my brother, to get the darshan of Shyama Sundar, and also to get the darshan of his consort, Radharani, who was a form of Mahalakshmi. So then Sadashiva granted him the boon, But you cannot do that externally in this forest. You must perform some meditation and also follow tapasya. Austerity and meditation. So Lord Shiva guided him to go to a particular van, forest. And that forest is called Pushpavan. And in this forest, Pushpavan means that the flowers bloom all the time. Right? And some flowers, they don't bloom or open up the petals during the day. They only open the petals during the night and a fragrance comes. We have a particular flower like that. It's called small whitish flower. What's it called? Huh? Rasa? Rakirani, yeah. In other words, that flower gives fragrance in the night, not in the day. So this Pushpavan was always fragrantly beautiful in its aromas in the atmosphere, both day and night. See? So it's called Pushpavan. So Narada Muni, he started meditating internally and performing tapasya. That means, not really eating much. In other words, whatever comes of his own accord from the local village people, they see him and then they go to their mothers and tell the mothers, Mata, there's a Baba in the forest. They call him Baba. Let's serve him. Let's serve this Baba. In the forest. And Narada Muni was performing so much meditation and austerity. Usually is very nice looking, clean shaven. Now beard has come and so forth. So they call him Baba. So some of the young cowherd girls, when they see where they're carrying milk from one village to another, or the milk place back to the village to their mothers, they'll come to the mothers and say, we saw the Baba. Okay, so the mothers will give some ingredients. Take some milk in this clay pot, take some grains, and take some spices, and leave it at the Baba. Like that. So one particular gopi, this is according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, from Sri Vraja Riti Chintamani. I'm taking different scriptures, Narada Purana, Skanda Purana, Padma Purana, now Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Sri Vraja Riti Chintamani, and putting it together. Is that okay? Now, so this particular gopi saw the Baba would have friends. She went to the village, and from the elders she got ingredients to make, you could say, bhoga and prasad. Because usually Babas in Vraj Mandala, they want to cook for themselves. They don't accept cooked food. They want to cook for themselves. Like that. Including our great Shripad Madhavendra Puri. They cook for themselves. Yeah. So she came and she saw the Baba, but she saw him in meditation. And he was engaged in austerity. She could see that. So she left all the ingredients on his side. On his side. Now this particular gopi, she doesn't know that the natural fragrance from a form brings more fragrance to the flowers in Pushpavan. She doesn't know she has that ability. So when she came close to Narada Muni in Pushpavan, her own fragrance was being absorbed by the flowers, and it came into Narada's nostrils. and she was walking away. See? And while she was walking away, she has this beautiful outfit or dress. Narada Muni thought, if I open my eyes, she'll know. But the fragrance entered his nostrils and broke his meditation and his tapasya. And he slightly looked and she was walking away. And he became so bewildered by the back form of this gopi. And every time when he went back to try to meditate, he couldn't do it. Like that. And he started cursing himself. And what's the curse on himself? I'm a brahmachari. I'm a brahmachari. See? And how come I saw this vision of the back of this gopi, and that entered my consciousness. And every time I close my eyes, I only see her vision and the remnants of the fragrance that she left behind in this forest into my nose. So he felt, this is the first time I broke my brahmachari vow. But nobody knows. Nobody knows. Now, somebody who breaks the brahmachari vow like that, and nobody knows, it's for a purpose. It's for a purpose. Because the brahmachari breaks the vows on the basis of being attached to a Mataji while still wearing saffron. Somebody will come to know. Because by his actions of the brahmacharis, it will know. You know? A mature, a senior brahmachari or sannyasi can easily pick that up in that brahmachari. Yeah. So, broken. His brahmachari vow got broken. So he went again into meditation, but he could not. The vision of this young gopi is always in his consciousness. He could not. So he started pretending that he's meditating. You know why? Because she'll come back for the vessels of the ingredients. And she came back. Now sometimes when you meditate, your eyes are half closed, as if you're in full meditation. You know this? Yeah. So the eyes are half closed, and she came back. When she came back, you could hear the ankle bells. See? And now the ankle bells, making that sound, entered into his ears. First, the fragrance of a form entered into his nose. Now the ankle bell enters into his ears. Now it's finished. And she's seeing that he's still meditating, but he is pretending to meditate. Yeah. And then she walks away with the utensils of the ingredients. And when she walks away, she says, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe. And he hears that. And in the meantime, prior to that, he's wandering aimlessly like a madman to all 12 forests of Vraj. And now she's saying, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. And she's walking. And he opened his eyes. And when he opened his eyes, when you meditate and when you open your eyes, but now his meditation broke through the nostril of her fragrance, the bodily fragrance of her form, and the ankle bells, it broke. And when he opens his eyes fully and looks at a direction, she stops. You know why? Because when you close your eyes for very long, and when you open it suddenly and look at somebody, that glance is potent. It is potent. It will stop anyone in their tracks. Because you didn't use the eyes. When you open it, you can actually devastate somebody. Potent. So the glance moved towards the gopi and she stopped dead in the tracks. All she did was turn her face. And when he saw a beautiful, smiling face, that's the third time he broke his brahmachari vows. He got finished. And she turns around and she says, Baba, And Narada Muni doesn't know what to do because he's completely transfixed by the beauty of her face. Baba, she turns around and she can see that he is completely transfixed. She turns and she comes back. So Narada Muni now speaks. And he speaks and he asks her, Radhe, Sham, Sham. He says, yes, Baba. Where is Sham? Then the gopi says, for that, I cannot tell you now. I'll come back. She took all the ingredients, went to the village, left it with the elders, and he's waiting for her. He's not meditating now, he can't. Because he's completely, awed by a face, a features, a fragrance, and the ankle bells tingling, and so forth. And she comes. And he tells her, you stand at distance. She asks, why? She says, Baba, you are meditating in our forest. You came from somewhere else. But why distance? Then Narada Muni said, I'm a Baba. I'm a brahmachari. If anyone sees you and me alone in this forest, what will they think of me? Like that. Then the young girl, Gopi, she's saying, but you asked me to come back so that because you wanted to know where's the Sham. Yeah, I want to know where the Sham. So how do we do this? I can take you to Sham. Like that. So Narada Muni said, I can't follow you, but I can. And Narada Muni, with his super intelligence, says, this is nice flowers here. You go a little distance where I cannot see you and you cannot see me. But as you go, you pluck the flowers and you drop it. You drop it. And I will follow that path where the flowers are dropped. She said, okay. She respected the Baba. So he's following the track where this gopi is dropping the flowers. And then they come to a final clearing. And they see this huge kund. Now Narada Muni has seen other kunds in the 12 forests of Braj, but he never saw such a huge kund. And the kund is so huge that it has waves and it comes to the, like steps, the waves. That means it's huge kund. It is wavy. It has some waves. Small waves come. Like that. So then, this gopi, he saw, she's sitting right next to the water, not touching the water, the last step of the feet, and she's sitting on the top as if it's a step. Like that. And Narada Muni comes at the top bank of that kund. And he looks at her. And he looks around. He says, nobody. He says, nobody can catch me with this girl in the same vicinity, same place. So she tells him, Baba, come. Now this is how the associates of Krishna are, like that. He's standing on the top and she's telling him, looking at him and then looking at the water, Baba, come. Now that's a little rude, right? It's not cultured. Come. I'm a brahmachari, I'm Narada Muni. And this girl, she's speaking like this. And he's not going. She says, Baba, you want to see Sham? You come. Then when she said that, he came. He says, sit near me. So Narada Muni sat near her, but she's a little away. And then she's telling him, Baba, close. And she's telling Narada Muni, why are you scared? He's thinking, I already broke my brahmachari vow so many times. Now this is like the apex of it, It's like, now she's telling me to sit almost next to her, like that. And she's telling him, she's preaching to him, Baba, the sun is seeing you breathing air, Vayu is seeing you. Why are you thinking there's nobody around? There's so many witnesses. These flowers have seen. Like that. So Narada Muni wondering, why is she speaking like that? Flowers, Vayu, the air. And she's saying, this water is seeing. So the Narada Muni realized that everything is conscious. Everything is conscious. So what is problem? Come near. Like that. Soon as they came near, because she's small, and Narada Muni is tall. He's sitting. So she stood up. And she said, close your eyes. Yes, why? Sham. Oh, then he closed. And she took a left hand. And he doesn't know. And she put it above his head. And suddenly she pressed him down and pushed him in the water. So she pushed him in the water. He is under the water. And she went also in the water. So when she went in the water, he held his hand and bringing him back to the bank. But now, he's no more Narada Muni. That, you could say, initiation that pushed him into the water, he's looking, I'm just like her. I'm also a girl. Like that. So then, the gopi told Narada, now you're safe. Anyone sees, it's okay. You like me. So that girl who was previously Narada Muni came and sat on the bank. Now his brahmachari vows are completely lost. Now he's a girl. She. So then this gopi came and sat next to her. No more him, Narada Muni. And Narada, in that internal state, is still feeling his Narada. He's asking the gopi, who am I? He said, no, your name is Naradi. Initiated this little girl. Your name is Naradi. And he's looking like, at his form. He can't see his Narada Muni form. Naradi, okay. Nobody will know. So the gopi catches Naradi's hands, her hands, and off they go to Radha-Kund. And at Radha-Kund, now remember, in the Nectar of Instruction, in verse 11 purport, it says, great devotees like Narada and Sanaka, which is part of the four Kumaras, they do not get an opportunity to come to Radha-Kund to take their baths. Prabhupada says in the purport. You know this? You'll read in text 11 in Nectar of Instruction. They cannot take bath there. Narada Muni, Sanaka. They cannot. But here Naradi is going. She is going with this other gopi, holding the hand. Let's go. And they sit on the banks of Radha-Kund. And then in the distance they see, like, pinkish, yellowish, big lotus flowers. And in the center they see a big bluish lotus flower. That's what Naradi Gopi is seeing with this other gopi. Lotus flowers are moving towards them. But it's not lotus flowers. It's Shyamasundar with Srimati Radharani and the gopis. He is looking bluish as a lotus flower. Coming closer and closer in a nice group or team. When they come very close, this other gopi, the other gopi pinches Naradi's cheek. Now Naradi is thinking, I'm Narada Muni inside, but outside I'm this little girl and she's pinching my cheek. What? See. Like pasyamecha, see. Only when the other gopi says see, then you get the potency to see. And see, that is Shyam. In Radhakund, that is Shyam. So as soon as Naradi gopi with this other gopi is seeing that is Shyam, then this Naradi gopi, who's Narada Muni inside, but outside is little girl, like that, put one step, left foot into the water. Immediately the other gopi, pull back. No, don't do that. Why? Why can't I go? So this other gopi told Naradi, no, you wanted to see. You only wanted to get darshan. You cannot participate. You cannot participate. So Naradi gopi is feeling, oh, I came so near, yet I am still so far. And it's true, I wanted to see, get darshan, but I cannot participate. I didn't say I wanted to take part. So the other gopi said, you cannot. Then suddenly, when by eagerness of desire to participate, when Naradi goes back into the water there, the feet, immediately the whole scene of Krishna and the gopis and Radhakund disappears. See? You saw this is Shyam. Now let's go back to the other Kund. Like that. So they come back, but Narada Muni or Naradi, she's completely devastated. Why did I only want darshan? I also wanted now to participate, to be part of the gopis, with Krishna. Couldn't do it. Came back to this other Kund. And again, the other gopis completely devastated, sad, got the darshan of Shyamasundar, but still that darshan is in the consciousness of this person, Naradi. So that gopi came, said, sit on the bank. Same place. She sat on the bank. When that Naradi gopi sat there, this other gopi stood up and pushed back into the water. And then what happens? Then Naradi gopi gets the form of Narada Muni again and comes out of the water. And he looks for this other gopi, no sign. Then he goes back to Pushpavan. And with all these impressions and association of this gopi at Radhakund with Shyam, it's all flooding in his consciousness, in his now internal meditation. Goes back to that place. That place you can go to today. That place, when he goes back to meditate, is called Naradavan. Who has been there? Now I'll tell you the other place. When this other gopi pushed Narada Muni and he became Naradi, that place is called Kusum Sarovara. See? You can go to that place. And you can even go to the temple where Narada Muni was meditating again. And there he wrote, through the consciousness, Shyam came to him and said, now you write about bhakti or devotional service. And in that place, Narada Muni compiled what is called the Narada Pancharatra. That is printed by our Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. And I have verses about the Vraja Gopis' love is the highest. From that book, it's here in my notes. So that's where he compiled it. But he had he was feeling so much separation from the darshan of Shyam and the gopis at Radhakund. He said, but I couldn't participate. And now I crave, I hanker, I desire deeply to participate. But he couldn't, he cannot. So in that separation of the desire to participate, he wrote the Narada Bhakti Sutras. Narada Bhakti Sutras. You can read that book. It's printed by our Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. See? And who's that gopi? What took him in? Who? That is Vrindadevi. Because Vrindadevi's service is to arrange rendezvous. Rendezvous means to arrange Radha, Krishna to meet, and Krishna with the gopis to meet. Vrindadevi. You can go to these pastime places in Vraj today. It's just near Radhakund. Now, that desire, because he broke all his brahmachari vows. So that desire to experience the Vraja Bhakti of the Vraja Gopis, he gave up his entire chastity. He gave up his chastity as being a brahmachari. So that desire is only fulfilled when that great Narada Muni is transformed into Srivas Pandit or Srivas Thakur. And as we know, there's a place called Srivas Angan, where he could not participate in Vraja Leela. He's participating in Gauranga Leela or Chaitanya Leela to experience Vraja Leela. Are we okay so far? Yeah. And you can go to Srivas Angan today. And those, you can say, kirtans in Srivas Angan in the evenings and in the night corresponds from Gauranga or Chaitanya Leela into Rasa Leela in Vraja Bhakti. So that's how Narada Muni, although his eternal identity is in Vaikuntha with Lakshmi Narayan, but only he can experience what is Vraja Bhakti and participate in it in the form of Srivas Thakur at Srivas Angan. That's why Srivas Thakur or Srivas Pandit appeared. Practically he was sent before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could come. He appeared 30 years before Mahaprabhu appeared. And Srivas Thakur's wife is Malini, and she's Ambika, the nurse for Krishna. So Srivas Thakur or Srivas Pandit and Malini are the second set of parents for Nimai. And actually Srivas Thakur was elder also to Jagannath Mishra. Very intimate. So whatever one cannot experience in Vraja Bhakti, one can experience Vraja Bhakti through the consciousness of the Pancha Tattva. And even up to today, Narada Muni cannot get into Vraja Bhakti, but as Srivas Thakur. Do you have any questions or comments you'd like to ask? And then I'll connect Narada Muni to Srila Prabhupada later on. We will end with that. Anyone? It's our last evening, we may not get so much time tomorrow. Nayana, you have your hand up, down or up? Give her the microphone. Put your hand up, the microphone will come to you. Everyone, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maybe a silly question, but where does it get established that Srivas Pandit is the incarnation? It is through the text like Narada, Bhakti Sutra, or our acharyas have observed these symptoms? Or
I read it for you. I read it in the purport. In the Gaura Ganadas Dipika by Kavi Karnapur, text 90, Srivas Pandit or Srivas Thakur is described as an incarnation of Narada Muni. I just read it in the purport. You came late. You came late?
No, I didn't. So this text is like the text 500 years ago, not those. Okay.
This text is eternal. You cannot put a time frame, to Gaur Ganadas Dipika or Radha Krishna Ganadas Dipika by Rupa Goswami. It is eternal. You have your mother? Yes or no? Yes or no? Your mother?
Yeah.
You visit her sometime?
No, she's no longer here.
Okay. Before you got married and before when she was with you, you were growing up as a girl, right? Yeah. Now sometimes when you're very naughty, what's the expression of the mother? Show us.
She's upset.
Huh?
She's upset.
No, what's the expression? You come here. See? So from Parvati, the mother becomes Durga. And from Durga, she becomes Kali. But she's the same mother. Yes or no? So similarly, Narada Muni is the same Srivas Thakur. And Srivas Thakur is the same Narada Muni. The desire to hanker, to participate in Vraja Leela is the form of Srivas Thakur in Chaitanya Leela. And that's eternal. Clear? Microphone, yeah, hand up. This side.
Just a small
What's
question,
your name?
Maharaj. Jitesh.
What's your name again?
Jitesh.
You're the rubbery boy. Gulab Jamun. Rasagula. Same one. He's the one, right?
Yes.
Should call you Rasagula Das or something. Okay, Rasagula Das.
Just like you mentioned that
Hold it close.
Just like you mentioned that Narad Muni was Vrinda Devi was assisting Narad Muni to take darshan of.
Not assisting. She was practically helping him. She's not an assistant. She connects people to Radha Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
A few weeks back, I heard in the class that our Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the goal is to assist Radharani in the pastimes of Krishna, assisting Radharani in her pastimes. So can we?
Well, the first thing you should do is you chant 64 rounds daily, if you have time, of japa. Then we can discuss your question. Become fixed in your sadhana. Become fixed in your sadhana. I'm just taking advantage of, Gaur Purnima tomorrow and discussing the associates of the Pancha Tattva to bring that consciousness about. See? Yeah. So the first thing you should do is you should serve the Vaishnavas. Don't worry about assisting Radharani. Right? And if you come to the point in your consciousness that you can serve Vaishnavas without any discrimination, then you can ask me the question. In other words, if you serve devotees, it's easy to serve devotees that you like, that you know, isn't it? But if you're having some problem with some devotee, and you're thinking that devotee dislikes you, therefore you're not serving. Meanwhile, their dislike has entered your consciousness not to like to serve them. So you have to remove your dislike to serve somebody that you don't like, and don't tell them you don't like them, that's why I'm serving you. Not like that also. See? So when we come into our consciousness where we can serve devotees without any discrimination, then you'll get noticed by Srimati Radharani. You'll get noticed. Is that okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
What's your name?
Saurabh.
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 Chintamani prakara sadmashu kalpraviksha laksha viteshu Saurabhi abhipalaya. Should be Saurabhi. Okay, Surabhi Prabhu. He was the architect for Hare Krishna land, Yes, Prabhupada gave him that service. Tell me.
So Maharaj, my question
Wait,
is...
somebody was speaking. What you said, Zorro? How do you think that you know what he's hearing on the side? You know him. Naughty girl. What's your name? You just be careful for her. She's like your mother or elder sister.
Thank you, Maharaj.
He's a young, small boy, Okay, Surabhi.
So Maharaj, you mentioned that nectar of instruction, 11th verse, it was mentioned, Narad, Sanak, they are not allowed to
Narada and Sanaka. No, they're not allowed. They don't have the consciousness in that bhava of the Vraja Gopis to even take bath in Radhakund.
Okay, got me.
That's from Nectar of Instruction, text 11 purport. But in another way, as Srivas Thakur, his whole home becomes the abode of Vraja Bhakti Rasa Lila in the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because in a purport in Bhagavad-gita, Srila Prabhupada says that when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Radha Krishna dances on your tongue. Dances on your tongue. And if you chant with careful attention and hearing the Mahamantra, from the dancing in the tongue that delves all your way to the heart. So therefore, Srivas Thakur or Srivas Pandit, home, Srivas Angan is the abode of the Rasa Leela. Because when you chant Hare Krishna, Radha Krishna dances on your tongue. It's okay. Next question. 1, 2. We go to her first. Give the microphone. This side, this side. Everyone chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Bhavika, tell us. No, put the microphone on. No microphone, switch on.
Pranam.
Yeah.
Maharaj, I have a very simple question.
Maybe not so it's not so simple answer.
I mean, you have read so many scriptures and...
Don't speak simple, just speak.
Yeah. So, I only wanted to ask that what should I be making special for tomorrow? What would the Pancha Tattva like you might have heard many stories and many leelas in which...
Yes. How many rounds of japa you chant daily?
16.
16? Only. Is it at least 16 or minimum 16?
Minimum 16.
Minimum 16 means 17, 18, 19.
Yeah, sometimes I go beyond you.
That's okay. So tomorrow, do you have any other practical service to do in the temple or for Gopunim?
Not really.
Not really. So then you chant 64 rounds of japa. Is that okay?
Yes.
What time you'll get up tomorrow morning?
I'm not thought at the time, but
Yeah,
I'll
then
complete it.
you must sleep before 10 o'clock tonight after taking prasad. There's prasadam in Vrindavan Hall, right? Where? Downstairs. Where's prasadam today? Okay, you honor prasadam and you take rest early. And you wake up early, before Mangalati, if you can chant some japa, would be very nice. And then you come to temple. You live near the temple?
I'm attending your tomorrow's katha.
No, but before that, what time you'll come?
I'll try as early as I can come.
Try as early as come, to the temple, chant japa, and then hear the class, and there's no breakfast fasting, You can chant more. You'll do 64 hours.
Yeah.
You do it in sets of 8 if you want.
Okay.
Or in sets of 16. Like that. But you must find a place where you can chant where nobody will interrupt you. And one of the best places to chant is Prabhupada's quarters. You know where that is?
Yeah, I was just there.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Japa Ki. Give to Mataji microphone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. On the first day you spoke about absolute truth. So I just want to ask a question that what is the difference between absolute truth and God? When we speak to people, we are not able to convince them about absolute truth or Krishna. So how do we?
Nice question. What is your definition? How will you explain the word God?
God is a vague word. It's not a definite this thing. We just say
No,
God.
God is a position.
Okay.
Krishna is a person.
Okay.
So the word God is given names like Vishnu, Narayan, Allah, Jehovah, Adonai. These are positions of God.
Yes.
Even Lord Brahma is a position.
Yes.
See? Even Lord Indra is a position. But Krishna is not God. Krishna is the source of the position of God. Ete chamsa kala pumsam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So Swayam Bhagavan means one who can expand and incarnate. So the expansions and incarnates may have positions or names to those positions also. But the original person is Satyam Param Dhimahi, the supreme absolute truth. See? We okay so far?
Yeah.
Yes. So when we chant the names of Krishna and the names of Rama and we chant Hare, we are not having a relationship with the position. We are having a relationship with a person or persons. Is that okay?
Yes. Good. Like sometimes we are also, somebody asks that, how is Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
No. So sometimes I'll ask you this question, right?
Yeah.
You can ready? Yeah. Is Narendra Modi, is Sriman Narendra Modi the Prime Minister of India? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, huh? Good so far? Yeah.
Yes.
Now, is the Prime Minister of India Sri Narendra Modi? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, which comes first? The position or the person?
Person.
Yes. Because, in the future, Sriman Narendra Modi may not be the Prime Minister, but he's still a person. So he's occupying a post of Prime Minister.
Okay.
But relationship is with the person. But if you have a relationship with the post of Prime Minister, when he's no more Prime Minister, then he's a piece of dirt, I don't care for you. Who's the next Prime Minister?
Yes.
See? So we have relationship with the person and not the post of God.
Yes.
Good?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? He's scratching his head. Something? You did like that. You want the microphone? No? Okay. All right, fine. Okay, we will conclude in relation to Srila Prabhupada and Narada Muni, who is none other than Srivastava. Very nice purport. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 5, Text 43, purport. I'll read. Because Prajapati Daksha was a Grihamedi who wanted to remain in household life, he thought that if Narada Muni could not remain in one place but had to travel all over the world, that would be a great punishment for him. Actually, however, such a punishment is a boon for a preacher. A preacher is known as Parivrajacharya, an acharya or teacher who always travels for the benefit of human society. Prajapati Daksha cursed Narada Muni by saying that although he had the facility to travel all over the universe, he would never be able to stay in one place. Sometimes Prabhupada says not more than 3 days or nights. In the Parampara system from Narada Muni, I have also been cursed, Prabhupada says. Although I have many centers that would be suitable places of residence, I cannot stay anywhere, for I have been cursed by the parents of my young disciples. So the Krishna consciousness movement was started. I have traveled all over the world 2 or 3 times a year. That means in the early 70s, this purport is being given, to the 6 cantos. Since the Krishna consciousness movement was started, I have traveled all over the world 2 or 3 times a year, and although I am provided comfortable places to stay wherever I go, I cannot stay anywhere for more than 3 days or a week. I do not mind this curse by the parents of my disciples, but now it is necessary that I stay in one place to finish another task. This translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. If my young disciples, especially those who have taken sannyas, take charge of traveling all over the world, it may be possible for me to transfer the curse of the parents to these young preachers. Then I may sit down conveniently in one place for the work of translation. Sometimes Narada Muni is called also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavan Narada Muni. You read? Because he is representing Bhagavan, not that he is the Supreme Lord. See? And sometimes we can say, His Divine Grace Srila Narada Muni ki. His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Srila Srivas Pandit or Srivas Thakur ki. Srila Srivas Angan ki. Shri Pancha Tattva ki. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we thank you very much, and we look forward to your association again tomorrow for that amazing day, which is the pre-day to the beginning of our new year, which is on Wednesday for the Jagannath Mishra Utsav. Now you can go down to Vrindavan Hall for Prasadam. Bhagavat Prasadam ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.